Let me give you a keyword. Front-engined hypercar. Can you think of any? I can think of several front-engined supercars, from the Dodge Viper and older Corvettes over the SLR McLaren and its AMG successors to the front-engined Grand Touring Ferrari V12s and the Nissan GT-R. But none of them are hypercars. Which makes it all the more interesting that back in the mid-2010s, alongside the Chiron, Bugatti was planning on releasing a front-engined hypercar. Which isn't very radical, because the original Ettore Bugatti company started out building front-engined cars back in the early 20th century, like the Type 57 Atlantic from 1936. Now, the car that I'm about to unbox is the 2015 one-off concept called the Bugatti Atlantic, and this one's made in 1/24 scale by Chiron. So this model isn't available here. I had to import it from China, from AliExpress to be exact, and because I hadn't purchased anything from AliExpress for over 2 months, I got a welcome back discount and therefore ended up only paying 16 euros for this car. The usual price is around 21 or 22, including shipping, and that's for the version without the box. If you want the version with the Chiron branded box, the price is closer to 30. However, fortunately for me, they did deliver my model in the styrofoam interior box, so only the exterior Chiron cardboard cover is missing. So it's not too bad, because sometimes they just wrap the model in bubble wrap if you choose to order one without box. So this is definitely a better treatment than that. So Chiron offers the Bugatti Atlantic in several different colors. There's the gloss black, which also happens to be the real car's official color, but I kind of found it to be a bit boring and went for a two-tone instead. Chiron offers the two-tone silver both in gloss black and in matte dark blue. I thought the blue looked really cool, so I picked this one. They also made it in 2 more two-tone color combos, namely white and medium blue, as well as red and black. But you gotta be careful with those two, because they come with different wheels. The wheels on those are the typical stock wheels that these AliExpress diecast companies have put on many other models they've made, like the 132 Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo Evo that I reviewed a while ago. Now you can see that the design of the Bugatti Atlantic is very much based on the Chiron, from the front fascia over the circular door trim to the rims. So in a way you can say the Atlantic was supposed to be a front-engine Chiron, but probably with less horsepower because it was advertised as Bugatti's entry-level Grand Tourer. Which is funny, because an entry-level Bugatti having butterfly doors that swing open like this, compared to the ones on the 2.3 million euro Chiron that open like regular doors? Of course, we'll never know what the price tag would have been, nor the exact horsepower, top speed, or 0 to 60, because the car, as far as I'm aware, has never been taken to the track and tested, or even filmed being driven for that matter, and just sits in the Bugatti Museum, which I believe is in Alt-Lussheim, near Hockenheim in Germany. Which ultimately brings us to the question, why wasn't this car made? And the answer is, because of the Volkswagen emissions scandal in 2015. Yeah, that was a while ago, wasn't it? Time flies. But Volkswagen is Bugatti's parent group, and so as a result of it, the Bugatti Atlantic project and the plan to reveal it in 2016 at Pebble Beach was cancelled. But it's interesting because after the Chiron, Bugatti have released more cars like the 110, of which they made 10. But the Atlantic, just like the Voiture Noire, remained one-offs. Now this model has a whole bunch of features that leave 124 Buragos and Maestos and even Wellies in the dust. Features that you expect on high-end 118 scale models like foldable mirrors, a button to open the hood, removable luggage, etc. But we'll get to that in a moment. So taking a look at the front of the 124 scale Bugatti Atlantic, notice how long the hood is. Now you see this center line here? Starting from the front, going over the hood, the top, and ending at the back, this was inspired by the original Bugatti Atlantic from the 1930s, which perhaps is better known as the Type 57. The front grille, known as the horseshoe, is wider than the ones on the Veyron and Chiron, probably the widest they've made on any Bugatti, and pretty much the opposite of the narrow ones found on the EB110 and the 110. Now you see, Chasey does not have the Bugatti license, so on the badging they've written BGTI instead of Bugatti, so they can legally get away with it. I personally don't care, as long as the font is so small that you can't tell the difference from afar. Now the headlights are narrow like on the Chiron. They could have used a little more detail, but keep in mind that these are illuminated, so when you turn on the light they're supposed to work. I'll show that in a second, and otherwise, considering how narrow they are, from a distance they do get the job done. The only issue I have with the front grille is that on my particular model it is not mounted properly. You can see that it's slightly crooked and sort of sticks out on one end. Now I tried fixing this by trying to push it in as hard as possible, but it didn't work. So it is what it is. Now let's get the hood open. And in order to do so, you actually are provided with like a button down here. I don't know if you can see this, right? This one, right? If you press this, the hood will open. See that? That's pretty cool. And what we have inside is something that was based on the choice of the customer. You could either have a 4-liter twin-turbo V8, or you could have it replaced with electric motors. This was back in 2015, remember, so this is pretty much pioneering stuff. I don't think that they would have the equal horsepower, obviously, so you could even turn it into a city car with an all-electric drive, or you could stick with the 4-liter twin-turbo V8, and depending on the market, different people would choose different things. So For example, someone in Switzerland would probably go with the electric route, and someone in the US would obviously go with the 4-liter twin-turbo V8. So here's a look at the side of the 124 scale Bugatti Atlantic by Chasey, and you can just see the swooping lines and the more sort of traditional design that a front-engine Bugatti offers. It definitely reminds me a little bit of the Bugattis of the 1930s. We'll start with the fact that this 124 scale model actually has suspension. Look at that. That is pretty cool. You'll also notice that this 124 scale model has raised windows, which is pretty rare, especially among coupes. If we take a look at the mirrors, they are foldable. This is absolutely stunning. It's probably the only 124 scale model that I have so far in my collection with foldable mirrors. And the mirror quality is also very good. And if we take a closer look at the wheels, you can see that these are perforated brake discs, red brake calipers. Unfortunately, the calipers move with the discs, so that's not how it's supposed to be. But I'm just impressed with like the wheel quality. I mean, this reminds me very much of a 118 Bugatti Chiron wheel by Maisto. So they did not cheap out on the wheels, and the wheels are usually an area where AliExpress models kind of begin to suck, but these are done really nice. So yeah, I mean, just look at that. It's really cool. The only thing that I don't like about this model is you can see that over here we have a pretty sizable panel gap. I mean, this is horrible, okay? Like if I try to get this to focus a little bit. Yeah. This is supposed to be like this, right? This is what it's supposed to be if you ignore the suspension for a second. But unfortunately, that's how big the panel gap is. Now, if I would have bought this car in full black, I guess it would have been a little bit less noticeable. But you can see that even in one of their product photos for the blue one, the panel gap is there. So I'd say it's pretty common, unfortunately. It's the same with the front grille not sitting perfectly. Even in this product photo, you can see the same issue. So I think many models are affected by this, rather than just me having gotten unlucky with mine. Taking a look at the back of the Bugatti Atlantic, I think that the back is also done really nicely in terms of design. Again, the Ettore Bugatti logo has been modified due to the lack of licensing, so it just looks like a fancy B. The taillights are also done pretty well. They are these large single pieces, and I don't really see any obvious pegs in them. And underneath we have a license plate that says Supercars and Quad Exhaust. Let's get the back open. So the Bugatti Atlantic was definitely designed with more of a daily driver capability in mind compared to the Bugatti Chiron, which have like really small front trunks, and the Veyron of course as well. And if we get this trunk open, you can see just how far up it opens. And what we have inside is something really cool. We have two suitcases with the Bugatti logos on them. Really nice trunk space. And what's also nice is that you can actually open these. Look at this. See that? That's pretty cool. And not only that, but you can also remove them. Check this out. If I can just grab this. Look at that. And this handle, as you can see, the back side has this two sort of things that you should put in there. But this handle can also be pushed in. Isn't that cool? And it's also like that for the other one, but I'm just gonna keep this out and not try to take that one out as well. It's really cool though. I mean, put it back in. Should be pretty easy. See if I can just do it with one hand. Yeah, like that. and you're done. Very cool. Now the doors are a little bit hard to get open, and that's because the way they swing open, and also because of the fact that we have the raised window glass. What you need to do to get them open is you need to hook your fingernail right in here somewhere. If I can do it, yeah, like that. And then they'll swing open. So the same is what you do over here. Like that. See? And that looks pretty cool. I mean, scissor doors on an entry-level Bugatti, which even the Chiron doesn't have. Absolutely amazing. This interior is arguably the best interior I have ever seen on an AliExpress China model. Usually, they have to cut corners somewhere, and that is usually the interior, but in this case, they went to the same level of detail Maisto did in their Chiron, and offer a nicely painted interior with plenty of detail, proving that scale isn't the limiting factor here, but rather the decision of many manufacturers to not give scales smaller than 1/18 the attention to detail they deserve. The only thing that's a bit off is the height of the gear lever, but if you look at the center stack on top of that, it does look like the real cars, which I believe is modeled after the Porsche 918s. We have nicely painted air vents and Ettore Bugatti's signature on the dashboard. And Chasey also paid attention into furnishing the inside of the door panels. Taking a look at the driver's side, what I like most is just how realistically proportioned the steering wheel is. It's got the silver Bugatti logo as well. However, they did forget to put a sticker for the instrument panel behind it. Taking a look at that Porsche 918 style center stack again, there's even a clock up there. And here's some extra details on the LED screen. You can see that it has some symbols on it as well, which is really cool. One thing I'd like to point out is that Chasey did try to shape the gear shift after the real thing, because on the real Bugatti Atlantic, the shift is hollow in the middle, where there's some glass and a Bugatti logo embedded into the glass, giving it a floating look. We also have some floor pedals. And if you look over here, Chasey made sure to even include a carbon fiber texture behind the seats, and it actually looks pretty good. Below the roof of the car, there's a screw holding the hinges of the rear canopy. If you could loosen this, you might be able to adjust any slant off the rear panel, but it's impossible to reach in without removing the undercarriage first. Now this car does come with lights and sound. However, in the product photos, you are informed in advance that it does not come with the three 1.5-volt batteries that are needed, probably due to international shipping laws prohibiting the shipment of batteries without labeling them as such, which would otherwise involve the seller having to pay higher fees and whatnot. But I did manage to find some, and if we take a look at the bottom of the car, you can see that there's really not much detail here apart from the rear diffuser. Here's the speaker for the sounds, I guess. And up here in the front is the battery compartment. It says AG3, 1.5 volt, made in China. And here's the switch, right? So you have three modes. You have the off mode, you have the light show mode, and then you have the on mode. The on mode is the one with the sound. So if you switch this to on, nothing will happen. But when you start opening the doors and such, that's when you will actually start hearing the sounds and the lights. However, what we're going to do is we're just going to switch this to the lights mode, which is this one. And that gives us this awesomeness right here. I mean, just check this out. This is so cool. The backlight finally makes the LEDs look good. No annoying sounds, but both the front lights and the back lights are lit now. And that gives the car a whole new vibe. I mean, this is just pretty awesome. So on this model, not only do the front steering work, but if you look at the steering wheel right there, you can actually even press it. Watch this. That is so cool. And the lights also turn on when you do that. Pretty cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the 124 scale Bugatti Atlantic by Chasey. I mean, this is about as awesome as things are going to get for the price you pay. So it's a great model in 124. And if you're interested in more Bugatti reviews, be sure to check out these here. And I'll see you in the next episode of Imperial Diecast. Take care and have a nice day.